It would be kind of fun too if like somehow these two like did some kind of thing where, and I was talking about this with some people behind the scenes where I was like, damn, wouldn't that be sweet if they like did something where it was like a passing of the Superman torch? Let's face it, when it comes to the fandoms of these two individuals, the extreme sides of the fandoms are absolutely ridiculous and batshit crazy. Let's talk about this image that James Gunn posted of him with Zack Snyder. It's one of those things where I didn't see it at first. I was working, I was over there, but I started getting notifications on my phone where it was like people started tagging me. I didn't look at those notifications quite yet, and then I just opened up. I just went back and looked at Twitter, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, shit. Boop. There they are. Chilling. Arm around each other. Good little smile. And, we have one guy who made a Superman movie who I defended a decade ago and continued to defend when it came to his DC content all the way up, of course, until 2021 when the Snyder Cut finally got released. And now we got the new guy who's making a Superman film, who I find myself defending in a different way. In that room, in that office, and all that stuff, well, Peter Safran, definitely in there. Definitely in there. So, Peter Safran, did you apologize a little bit to Zack? Because, yeah, you were kind of part of that old regime that, but hopefully they, shook hands and everything's okay, when it comes to Petey Saf and Zack. So, but anyways, and everybody reacted to it perfectly normal, right? Everybody reacted to it perfectly normal. Everybody was like, oh, that's cool. Two comic book filmmakers coming together. Who knows what they're talking about? Blah, 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 blah. No, of course not. My whole take when I saw this, I went, oh shit, interesting. Obviously, we can come up with like a lot of conclusions of like why exactly they came together. Why is this happening? I mean, first off, naturally, if James Gunn and Zack Snyder are going to meet up together, yeah, it's going to get posted. With James, who is online frequently and has seen certain things, naturally, like if he's going to meet up with Zack, he's going to be like, oh, dude, we got to post an image. People love you. You're a name. I'm a name. We're all doing this. You did a Superman. Now I'm doing a Superman. I mean, obviously, it's like, I don't know. There could be so many possibilities when it comes to a marketing thing. And I remember, I was talking with somebody about it today. I mean, can you imagine if they actually like shot like some kind of promo thing? Zack's done that stuff. Again, I know like people just think like, goddamn, James Gunn is like too much in this promo stuff and too much into all this stuff. It's like, no, when you actually become a name or a brand, which both of these guys have, like their names are brands now, whether you like it or not. You have to be part of the promo stuff. I mean, look what happened when the Snyder Cut was coming out. Now, naturally, the actors themselves could not promote the Snyder Cut like a normal promotion. So Zack had to do the promoting, but at the same time, it's like, well, Zack literally put his fucking name on it. Zack Snyder's Justice League. So naturally he's going to, and so he was doing all the interviews. He came on here a bunch of times. Remember when he did that, the Stephen Colbert thing where, they were talking about the Snyder Cut, and then they did that whole promo thing where they were making the Snyder Cut of like something, and all the Snyderisms that were a part of that. That was great. That was fun. It would be kind of fun too if like somehow these two like did some kind of thing where, and I was talking about this with some people behind the scenes where I was like, damn, wouldn't that be sweet if they like did something where it was like a passing of the Superman torch? Let's face it, when it comes to the fandoms of these two individuals, the extreme sides of the fandoms are absolutely ridiculous and batshit crazy. And then all of a sudden you get David Cornsweet, and then you get like a Henry Cavill also doing a passing of the torch. I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't think they would actually do something like that, but It would blow up the fucking internet if they did that. It would totally just be like, holy shit, if there was like some kind of passing of the torch from the two directors and then the two actors to the people, to the fans, and those extreme fans of these two individuals that don't like the other one. We get it. The fucking whole folding of the arms and puffing up your chest by saying, just because they took a picture together doesn't mean I have to support. Yes. No, it doesn't. We get it, you fucking dorks. You dorks. We get it. Doesn't mean you have to support James. Doesn't mean you have to support Zack just because they took a picture together. Does not mean that, okay? We get it. We get it, guys. I saw a lot of that from both sides. They were like, geez, it doesn't mean it's like, shut up. Shut up. Yes, you don't have to, okay? All this shows, all this image shows is they live in reality. You don't. You know, you live in your bubble and stuff like that, cool and whatever, and you want to pin these two together, pin these two against each other. Now, are they like best of friends? No. Do they like have dinners like, you know, once every couple of weeks? Like, hey, let's get together and blah, 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 and catch up. No, they don't do that either. But they have a mutual respect for each other. They both tell stories in a different way. And I love what James had to say right here. Obviously, the speculation begins when it comes to all this. Like, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Especially when some whispers are happening. Some whispers. There's like some kind of press event that apparently was taking place this weekend. Maybe there could be something when it comes to SnyderVerse. And I posted something. I did post something, and naturally there are those certain fans that say live action or nothing, that obviously don't want that, because I've always said that I want to see the conclusion of Zack Snyder's story. Do I think a live action movies, I should say, are possible? I don't, because so much time has passed and not everybody can return. And I think there's, when it comes to those certain individuals, they don't realize that people are not going to return. But that's why I've always been like, when people go like, Jesus Christ, what is up with you in animation? I'm like, because I want to see the end of the story. I want to see the story finished. You want to see it in a certain way, and you're demanding it. You're like, nope, I got to see it live action or nothing. I'm like, okay, that's like fucking pretty much impossible. That's why I always suggest animation, because that's very much more plausible. And I wouldn't be surprised with James obviously liking the animation, liking doing stuff in animation, liking the animated medium. Obviously, the DCU technically, basically started with animation. It's like, so why not just have that? Because then not all the actors have to actually return. You can just have voice actors and whatever the fuck. I mean, I would even want a comic book. I just want to see what was the whiteboard? Remember the whiteboards that got released after the Snyder Cut came out, which was essentially like, oh, this could possibly have been what would have been the conclusion of this arc that Zack was trying to create. Now, obviously, it was just not going to be exactly that, and there was still a whiteboard or two that we didn't see that he kept just in case the story could still be told. We have to remember that, guys. There are still, from what I've gathered over the last few years, is the fact that those whiteboards were not going to be exactly what was going to be told when it came to the sequels of Justice League. But Zack is a very, he very much lives in reality. He knows himself that not everybody would actually show back up. That's why when it comes to animated or comic book, that could be the way to go to finish the story. And he's very much has said he's open to that and very much down for that. But then, of course, obviously, when it came to everything that was happening and looking online, a lot of people, the first thing I kept on seeing was, oh, he should direct The Authority because that's right up Zack's alley. And I'm like, yep, that's actually been mentioned even before. Like, can you imagine if Zack Snyder directed The Authority? He'd nail it. He'd nail it. And then, of course, people were talking about, well, he has expressed that he wanted his white whale of doing a live action movie when it comes to the comic book space is The Dark Knight Returns. That's his all-time favorite book. But then I just kind of go like, nah, no, I don't see that happening either. Like a DC Elseworlds that's Dark Knight Returns. Now, it would probably sell very well. But I've always been like, well, Zack already kind of did that with BVS. There's a little bit, I mean, BVS had Dark Knight Returns stuff in it, obviously. We got Matt Reeves' Batman that everybody's just worried about. We still got that Batman, and then we still got to get introduced to a new Batman in the DCU. So I'm like, there's already a lot of Batman. So I don't think, maybe, I don't know. And then of course people started talking about what if he did the Clayface movie, but obviously this was before they announced Mr. Watkins as the director, which I think, I thought Speak No Evil was fantastic. And I'm like, all right, I think this guy could kill it, especially with Matt Flanagan writing the script. And then there was this suggestion right here, couple suggestions right here, two suggestions right here that I was having conversations with people like in messages and everything. What if Mr. Luca, who's directing Sergeant Rock, after, you know, Daniel Craig, he's not going to be playing Daniel Rock, Sergeant Rock. What if Luca also dropped out and then Zack took over Sergeant Rock? I went, holy shit, he could actually make I mean, a Zack Snyder Sergeant Rock? Jesus Christ, that'd be something pretty damn awesome. And then all of a sudden I was having a conversation with somebody else. What if we do have Paradise Lost coming out in the DCU, which is essentially a Wonder Woman origin? What if James Gunn was like, man, Zack really had a pretty awesome idea originally for Wonder Woman's origin story. Remember? Because we have to remember that what we saw in the Wonder Woman movie, what Patty Jenkins did, was not what Zack Snyder initially wrote. He wrote a whole little piece and shot some images for what he thought Diana's origin should have been. It is very R-rated. It is Diana going around fucking chopping heads off, having sex with people, and it's just being full on just a bloody, dark origin for Diana before she realizes, hey, I got to stop doing this. I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn was like, Jesus Christ, that would be kind of cool. And then I was like, whoa, what if like he was like, hey, Paradise Lost? Ooh, so there's many possibilities, but overall, it's probably just two dudes getting together. You better believe that James Gunn showed Zack some Superman footage, 100%. Probably showed him some, hey, check this out. And I wouldn't be surprised. And I know that people think that there's some people out there that think that James Gunn's like an egotistical maniac and would never take notes from people. But even though James Gunn's expressed many times that he has taken notes from people, would not be surprised if he was like, Zack, look at this. Do you have any notes? What do you think? Like, give me your honest opinion. Going back to the extremes on both the fandoms, you know, when it came to the Zack Snyder crazy fans, they were saying like, oh, James Gunn is desperate. He's desperate. He's playing the Snyder card because he knows that Snyder sells and he's so desperate. That's all I kept seeing. When it came to the Gunn fans, it was like, oh, Zack needs a job. Zack is he's begging for a job. That's what I kept seeing from these crazies over here. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Zack has like 5 fucking projects lined up. And then of course, whoa, what projects? I'm like, I'm not even going to get into this because obviously, you know, we're waiting for more Rebel Moon. We got Army of the Dead stuff. Who knows? I mean, again, it's all about Netflix and whatever the hell. But of course, the UFC movie and the LAPD movie, and I don't know, there's all this kind of stuff. This could just be them just getting together. Who cares? And you better believe that it was like, yeah, James Gunn probably was like, hey, we got to post a picture. If we're meeting, we got to post a picture. You know that it was his idea. 100%. And Zack was like, yeah, I get it. Because they probably laughed. They're like, they know like how crazy the fandoms are. You better believe they know. They absolutely know.